Welcome back to Ox Talks. Well, it's November 1st, 2023, and wow, we have a lot going on. I appreciate all of you for showing interest in the channel. It means a lot to me. It's been a pretty amazing last run of about not quite 30 days as of right now. I hope you keep watching the channel and the shows. If you enjoy the content, appreciate you guys subscribing, hitting the like button, and also sharing these videos with your family and friends. I believe they do provide some good information, some analysis that I think it's important that people understand and wake up to. Well, I was having a pretty good day this morning for the first couple of hours. Nothing out of the ordinary. Had some client meetings, had some phone calls, returning emails, and then I opened up my mail. And in my mail today was something from Blue Shield of California. And it was my 2024 health plan update. And what they have told me is that my health plan is increasing next year by 20.81%. I will tell you, I already pay quite a bit for this policy, and it's not the top-notch policy. It's a PPO. It's like a silver level plan. It's a group plan. It's an amazing amount of money I pay each month for the plan. And look, the deductibles are still so high that we pay out of pocket for everything anyway. The deductibles are so high. All you're doing really is paying for a catastrophic type illness or injury. And so you write these substantial checks, you get notice in the mail. I did that the policy is going up almost 21%. I will say last year, I forget exactly how much it went up, but it was something similar. It might have been 15%. So I pulled just now from the current US inflation rates. It says the annual, and this is the US inflation calculator. It says the annual inflation rate for the United States was 3.7% for the 12 months ending September, according to the U.S. Labor Department data published on October 12th, 2023. Let me ask all of you, do you think that the inflation rate is 3.7%? And tell me, make a comment down below. Are you seeing these kind of increases with your health insurance premiums? Is this something that is unique to the California nightmare that we live every day relative to healthcare costs, or is this something that all of you are seeing across the country and in different states? So now I get to write a check for several hundred more dollars every month beginning January of next year, unless I want to make some kind of a substantial change in the coverage. So anyway, my mood went from pretty good to pretty crappy very fast. It's very frustrating. And the point is that it doesn't matter what level you're on, all of us are feeling the pain from these increased costs. And it says on this renewal, it says, stay covered in 2024. Prices for everything are going up, including healthcare costs. We know this year hasn't been easy. There are options that may help you with your healthcare costs and still give you the quality healthcare coverage you expect. From Blue Shield, we're here to help. So the reality is that a 21% increase year over year is major. And it's a inconvenience, obviously, for me. It's something else that I have to budget, but all of us have to budget these kind of substantial upticks in costs, healthcare costs, food costs. And there's nothing to indicate that these prices are going to come down anytime soon. So anyway, just thought I would share that with all of you from a personal level. We are all feeling the impact of this, which means that we all need to try to find ways, if we can, to cut in other areas and to try to save in other areas, because we're having to pay out so much more for these essentials. if you don't have health care coverage, and thank God I can afford to have the coverage, but imagine the people that don't have coverage. I have family members that don't have any health care coverage, and they just roll the dice. They pay cash for things, but if something major happens, doesn't matter what age you are, if you have a major car accident, if you have a stroke or a heart attack, those are the kind of events that without coverage would bankrupt you. And so I tell my wife this all the time. We're just paying to avoid a catastrophic situation. That's all we're paying for on a monthly basis. So anyway, thanks for letting me rant. I will move on to some of the current events that I saw unfold in the last couple of days. The first one, we addressed this briefly yesterday, I think, on Jeremiah's show, or he did, about Charles Schwab announcing layoffs. Well, there was an update today posted on Zero Hedge. It says, update Wednesday. A Charles Schwab spokesperson confirmed to Bloomberg that up to 6% of its 35,900 member workforce, or about 2,154 employees, were recently laid off. It says these were hard times but necessary steps to ensure Schwab remains highly competitive with industry-leading levels of efficiency well into the future. So the last time, this is interesting, the last time that Schwab went on a hiring and then a firing spree was the dot-com bubble. And it says it appears the pattern is repeating. The Wall Street Journal first revealed the Schwab layoffs on Monday night. Charles Schwab on Monday began laying off employees across the country. And as a result, it looks like overall shares are down 40% in Schwab since peaking in March of 2021. So again, that's one of the major brokerage houses making substantial cuts to its workforce. Again, we talk about having your own business, trying to the extent that you can, have alternate sources of income streams. What about these 2,154 people that were laid off? They now have no job. How are they going to provide for their family? Did they have any reserves set aside? Is there someone else in the family working that can try to pick up the slack? A lot of times that's not the case. And so these are the people that probably didn't see that coming, woke up, got an email saying, or a note saying, don't come into work today, your job has been eliminated. That can happen to anybody who has an employer who is beholden to a boss or an employer for their livelihood. So please consider starting a business, starting a side hustle, doing it the right way through an LLC or a corporation. But something that you can deploy, use the skills you have into something that generates an income stream for you. Okay, the next one is from the Hedge today, and it says the party's over. The Atlanta Fed slashes fourth quarter GDP estimate from 2.3%, listen to this, to 1.2%. It says the same Atlanta Fed, which last quarter stunned Wall Street with its 5% plus Q3 GDP estimates, and which came out with its second Q4 GDP forecast, which was a doozy at 1.2%. That's almost 50% below the Fed's first quarter 4 GDP estimate of 2.3%. So they have taken it down in the last week, their expectation, by almost half. These are the kind of things that we need to be paying attention to. That is a substantial downward estimate revision. And then I saw yesterday on the Hedge says more like a trend. This is the Dallas Fed. That was the Atlanta Fed relative to GDP. Now the Dallas Fed's out saying more like the article's entitled "More Like a Train Wreck Than a Soft Landing." Dallas Fed services sector survey slumps in October. And this says growth in Texas service sector activity stalled in October, according to the business executives reporting to the Texas Service Sector Outlook survey. It says the revenue index, a key measure of state service sector conditions, fell 8 points to 0.7%, with the near zero reading suggesting little change in activity from September. Perceptions of broader business conditions continued to worsen in October as pessimism notably increased. I was over in Texas about a month or maybe more than that ago with Jeremiah. And I think we reported from there, there was growth, there was building on every corner outside of San Antonio and Austin. Every corner, multifamily, commercial, restaurants. It was amazing. And I remember talking with Aaron and from Texas Silver, and Aaron said, this is going to keep going. And my first thought was, well, it's exactly how my local community looked back in 06, 07, 08. It was building on every corner, and look what happened. So this article regarding the Texas Fed Services Sector Survey seems to indicate that they're hitting a wall over there now. It says the general business activity index dropped from minus 0.86 to minus 18.2, the lowest level since December of last year, while the company outlook index fell to minus 12.8, its lowest level in 16 months. It says the outlook uncertainty index jumped from 14.8 to 23%. And the article concludes by saying higher interest rates have stifled this market, and we are afraid the worst is yet to come. Refinancing of existing debt will be challenging due to the 500 to 600 basis point increase in rates and the fact that regional banks are not lending. Most owners will not have the additional equity required to refinance their debt. So on the purchase and sales side of the market, we still have a repricing issue that needs to be resolved between sellers and buyers before assets can trade. We're all trying to find something positive in this marketplace, but it's just not there. Well, what does a balance in between buyers and sellers mean? What that means is that sellers are going to have to start dropping their prices and come to the reality that they're not going to get their asking prices for their properties. I think you're seeing that all across the country now. Let me tie this in briefly with sellers of real estate. I addressed in a prior show the idea of, when sellers get desperate and nobody's making offers, and buyers understand this, and they then come in and they offer a seller financing proposal where the seller becomes the bank, carries back a promissory note and a lien against the property, takes some kind of a down payment, and becomes actually like the lender. And I would, obviously, I'm not giving legal advice here. Any sellers of real estate need to consult with their own lawyer in their own jurisdiction. But if you get a proposal or an offer for a buyer to come in and they're wanting you as the seller to carry the financing, be very cautious. Be very careful with that. I'm seeing a lot of real estate fraud cases that I'm involved in, and they usually revolve or involve a seller financing transaction of some sort. And likewise, if you're a seller of real estate, at the last minute, your buyer wants to assign their interest to an LLC or a corporation that was just recently formed, please be very, very careful with that. And look at a new company producing a bank statement that shows they have, $500,000 in the bank is not good enough. That's not, those can be doctored up. Those can be prepared. Look I have real estate fraud cases now where I have a legitimate DocuSign document, and I have a fraudulent document containing the exact same DocuSign imprint and signature. Same time, same signature, totally different fraudulently prepared document. So this is happening right now. It's going to continue to happen. You're going to see more fraud in real estate transactions as the parties get more desperate on all sides. So with that being said, I'm trying to keep these to 10 or 15 minutes max for you guys. Someone made a comment the other day that they would like to see me having a different background, and different locales for doing the videos. I'm going to try to do that, guys, but keep in mind, I'm in this office pretty much from morning till night running this law practice, and it's difficult for me to pack up the gear and go to a different place all the time. Once in a while, like Jeremiah and I did yesterday, we'll try to get out, change it up. But bear with me on this for now. Practice is very, very busy, thank God. But it's difficult for me to leave the office and go somewhere midday to do the videos. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the content. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye. Oh, don't forget, get your fitness in today. Please work out. Get half an hour of steps in. Get some sit-ups, get some push-ups, drink your water. I've been getting some really positive comments from people on their workouts. All I can say is keep going. Keep that up. There's no downside. Okay, appreciate y'all. Talk to you tomorrow.